Hi.
Hello, Cassandra.
Oh, hang on.
How are you?
There we go. Hi, I can hear you now.
Hey. How you doing?
Good. I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Yeah. It looked like a pretty dreary day down by the beach today.
It
Not much
was.
sunshine.
Sunday was literally the most stunning afternoon, and the whole, like earlier in the day, it was like the same. We just do, that early morning June gloom, nasty, and then it's just been beautiful. But right now it's pretty sucked in. Yeah, it's not very nice at all. So I'm really looking forward to the meeting tonight. We have a really good turnout already. Lots of people showing up, and we're going to give everybody a couple minutes to check in and get settled, and then we'll start. So I think that what I'm going to do is you just need a Zoom tutorial or something like that to have it be more familiar.
YouTube. YouTube has all the answers. Learn anything.
Good point. Good point.
If you have the patience to seep through dozens of videos, that is.
No, I don't actually.
That's what interns are for.
Exactly.
I like that idea better. I really do. I'm a fan of that one. All right. Oh, good. Bill's coming. Where am I at on time? Boy, everybody's like jamming, logging in. We're going to give everybody a couple more minutes to get settled, and then we'll start. Hope everybody had a good holiday weekend, and I didn't see too many local celebrations, recognitions. Did anybody see anything up in Ventura? I'm in Oxnard Shores. I didn't see too many holiday memorial things, but maybe I just didn't, because I worked most of the weekend, probably why I didn't see much. But anything special this weekend with the Memorial Weekend, and any observances or anything anybody got the chance to participate in? Nothing.
They had flags up and down the promenade and the pier to, help observe and remember. So that was pretty cool, I thought.
Good. Great. Cassie, while I do the welcome, can you please pay attention to admitting? Do I have to make you a co-host now?
Yeah, I was just going to say you should make me co-host, and then I can handle the admitting room.
So I'll make everybody a co-host tonight. Yeah. That way everybody's in charge of themselves.
Perfect.
And then Jen, I know you're here. There you are. Okay. Hey, hi. Okay, I think we're good.
Hi, I'm logged on 2 names because when I share, we had that thing where I didn't want to have the gray box.
So where are you? Where else are you?
I am the one that just says Jen. I don't have my camera on my other computer.
Okay. I'll find you.
Thanks.
All right, Jen. How come I don't see you?
It's on my bottom left corner. You may have to scroll.
Oh, I see.
To the,
got her. Yeah, I got her. Great.
Thanks, Laura.
Sure. Okay, so we're going to get started. Then Cassie's going to admit everybody that's joining us from now on. And I wanted to thank everyone for coming tonight. I know it was a fast first Tuesday of the month, June 1st, man. It was here before we knew it. And the holiday weekend, it's kind of like a little bit of a deer in the headlights, having things come up so quickly. So I really appreciate everyone coming and joining us tonight. I did want to mention that we wanted to start tonight's meeting by acknowledging that the Surfrider Foundation Ventura County chapter operates on Venturino Chumash land. The first peoples of Ventura County for over 13,000 years are the Chumash people. This is their homeland for thousands of years, their homeland today, and their homeland into the future. Gosh darn it. They are here. They love Mother Earth, and we want to honor them. So welcome tonight. Ways to find us. You can find us on Instagram at Surfrider VC, Facebook, Surfrider Foundation Ventura County Chapter. Our website has a tremendous amount of information. It's Ventura County Chapter Surfriders Foundation, ventura.surfrider.org. And on the website, you can learn about our active programs and campaigns. You can donate, you can become a member, subscribe to our newsletter, and much more. Volunteer opportunities right now. We have a Hold On to Your Butt program that's looking for volunteers always to help install and clean the ash cans. Julie Marciel is in the audience tonight. If she'd like to include anything else, one of the things you can also do is sponsor an ash can. So Julie would be the point of contact. Our marketplace is also a place where you can sponsor an ash can. And Julie, did you want to talk about Hold On to Your Butts at all? I know she's here, maybe
Sure.
not.
I'm gonna,
Okay.
We went out today and did a work day. So we've checked all of the cans now in terms of getting out there, and we've got over 100 cans out now, and they've all been checked, and maintenance is done. So Laura's right. If anybody wants to, anyone that wants to volunteer, you want to volunteer, it's probably a total of maybe 2 hours a month, if that, to be a volunteer, but it'd be extremely helpful. The good news is that the county is very interested in now getting involved with Hold On to Your Butt, and they're asking for graphics and information about cans and stickers. So that just kicked off at the beginning of end of last week, and Bill and I were in contact with them this week. So the county might be jumping on board, and so we might get a whole bunch more cans up. So we're very happy. The program's doing really well, and I want to thank everybody for the support.
And the ash cans are in Oxnard, Port Hueneme, and the city of Ventura.
Yeah, we have 2 in Oxnard, 10 in Port Hueneme, and so that would leave 88 throughout the city of Ventura.
That's wonderful.
And if someone wants to sponsor, it's $125 for a can and $150 for a planter. If you want to just have a can affixed to something, but if you want a nice little pretty planter with plants, it's another $150. And we take care of everything. So, and then you're always in the newsletter and on our website. So it's a great deal for anybody who wants to support the program.
And Julie, did you want to also do a volunteer shout out for Rise Above Plastics?
Sure, absolutely. The other program is Plastic Free Ventura County, and as everybody knows, last September the city of Ventura kicked in, and they've now banned July 1st. Actually, the styrofoam ban will go into effect in the city of Ventura. Thousand Oaks has one that will be going into effect on January 1st of 2022. That's again polystyrene and styrofoam. Camarillo's lined up to start working on an ordinance to do that, ban styrofoam. And then we are now doing a comprehensive ordinance to not only ban styrofoam, but also get rid of plastic and bioplastic single-use foodware, as well as encourage them to skip the stuff, if you all know about that. So not just arbitrarily handing out single-use foodware, either at restaurants or to go. So those ordinances, that ordinance has been drafted, and we're getting ready to, we've just contacted, Joan Tharp and I are doing this, and she's spearheading this because she knows most 3 of the 5 city council members in Port Hueneme. So let's see, today's the 1st, June 3rd, we're starting to reach out to each of the council members to speak with them in order to get that up and going in Port Hueneme. So things are moving along really well, and we're very happy with the way this program is going. And yes, if anybody wants to find out more about the program or jump into the campaign, you can also contact me. I think Cassie's got my email just directly at juliemarciel@gmail.com. So thank you all again for
Wonderful.
supporting this, and it's moving along really well. So we're really happy with the progress.
Thank you for all your hard work and all your team there on both committees, Julie.
Thank you so much.
And other volunteer opportunities, ocean-friendly restaurants. If you're interested in learning about how you can help restaurants become more sustainable and ocean-friendly, then that's a program that you want to be involved with. Ocean-friendly gardens. Also, we're looking for volunteers for a workday coming up at Patagonia Retail. We'll send out a social media blast on the details of that shortly. I wanted to mention that World Ocean Day is June 8th. We're going to have an opportunity for a fundraiser by showing a movie screening. So stay tuned to hear the details about that. World Refill Day is on June 16th. We will be continuing the movement towards sustainability and a greener planet by celebrating World Refill Day. Don't forget to let us know what restaurants are encouraging customers to bring their own reusables so we can give them a proper social media shout out. International Surfing Day is on June 19th. It's Saturday. It will be at the Port Hueneme Pier this year from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. So stay tuned for more details about that event. It should be a lot of fun. Program updates. We are beyond excited to announce the official launch of our chapter's latest program, Respect the Rincon Parkway, RRP, led by volunteer Joy Downing Riley. RRP will focus on the stretch of Highway 1 north of Ventura, known as the Rincon, that has become an environmental, recreational, and coastal stress point due to competing state, local, and private jurisdictional overlap. Although this is a complicated issue, there is good news to report. Ventura County, through the Office of District 1 Supervisor Matt Levere and Ventura County Parks, is now building out a comprehensive improvement plan that includes upgrading the Rincon's day-use parking area, adding lidded trash receptacles and signage, and commencing a Leave No Trace educational campaign. We are excited to learn of these plans and look forward to their implementation. To learn about this program and to become involved in the future, please reach out to Joy at rrp@ventura.surfrider.org. And we are also trying to encourage people to have their own solo cleanups. You can get your volunteer hours certified for students and others in need of fulfilling community service requirements. You can do a cleanup in your neighborhood or any local beach in Ventura County to help keep our entire watershed clean. It's simple, just follow Surfrider's solo beach cleanup guidelines and use the Ocean Conservancy's free Clean Swell app to record your data under the group name Surfrider Ventura. To get your hours certified, you can email beachcleanups@ventura.surfrider.org to receive your certificate of completion. And I think that, Danielle, did you have anything else you wanted to say about beach cleanups and an opportunity for people to help with our anti-litter message? Are you here? Maybe not.
Yes, I am here. No, we're just trying to encourage students, community members to continue using the app. In our newsletter, we have a really great graphic that volunteer Ian Tuchel put together. Sorry if I said your last name wrong, but I saw that he tuned in here. So wanted to give him a shout out for kind of compiling the data that's being put under our group name into the Clean Swell app. So it's a good visual about what's been picked up so far.
Yeah, no worries. You didn't butcher my name, so no worries at all. And yeah, I just figured it's really easy, and it gives, you know, kind of a picture of what we're trying to do, and it'll make it easier for people to kind of associate what we're trying to accomplish with it. So I hope it helps.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
So it's really, I think it's really important for all of us to recognize the amount of work that this chapter accomplishes. Our mission is really, you know, really to the core of protecting our environment, especially our oceans. And we're a volunteer run chapter. So everyone's time and passion is 110% appreciated. We really couldn't be doing the work without everyone. So now coming out of COVID, coming back into a little bit more of a comfort level for people, hopefully our volunteer base will increase, and we have the in-person event, International Surfing Day, which will be a lot of fun. Paul, did you have an update for us, or are you just?
Yeah. Hi, everybody. Thanks, Laura. Couple things. This morning I was out at the Point, and we had Beacon had organized several scientists to come out and try and do some monitoring of the beach and the dunes out there. And we're able to get actually Kiki from CSUCI was out with her drone guy, and they did a full cross-sectional profile of the whole beach all the way up to the river mouth. And the consultant who built the project, ESA, who had done some prior monitoring, got out and did some, surveyed some cross sections. So that was cool because Brian Brennan was out there, and he actually brought out Joe, the new council member. So we got a new city council member who learned a little bit about the project, and he's also now taken the city's role as representative on Beacon. And so Brian's doing a good job of trying to rope in some of these guys and get them up to speed. So that was good. And, you know, it's one of the first times I've actually met with real humans.
Right? Oh my gosh.
Not on Zoom. It's outdoors, everybody's vaccinated, and we're at the beach and it's windy. So I think we were all good, but that was cool. I also sent an email out that some of you might have gotten. There's a lot of anxiety down in Silver Strand right now as the Corps of Engineers is going out and repairing the jetties. And I've got sucked into this, a lot of emails from people who are afraid that they're expanding the jetty or gonna ruin the surf. Everything that I can find suggests that it is a maintenance project, but you know, because those groins, those jetties are like this. So it's like the tip of the iceberg is what you see up here. And when they're dumping rocks in the water out here, they're not necessarily building it out. They're repairing stuff that had slumped over the years. You know, when the big waves hit, those rocks move around. So that's been interesting. And I hope that's what it is, but we're standing by in case it appears that it's something that it's not supposed to be.
Okay.
Next week, a week from today, the county will be doing an official groundbreaking at Santa Ana Bridge, which is up in Oakview. And that's the first major component of the Matilaha Dam removal project.
Wow.
So that's exciting. And there should be some press on that. And I've got Rich Reed is going to be there to take photos and video. So we should have it covered, but we will make sure and get that into the next newsletter. So
that's amazing.
Big milestone.
Congratulations. Big milestone. Wow.
Yeah, cool, huh?
Yeah, way cool. That's amazing. You know, it's soon, I think that soon our chapter meeting should be like an update. Maybe not soon, but maybe like in the fall. Maybe we can do an update in person when we have an in-person chapter meeting.
That would be awesome.
That would be great. We'll have to do that. So soon I'll be working on trying to have in-person chapter meetings as soon as we get the go-ahead from national to be able to do it. So tonight's guest presenters.
Wait, Laura, what? Can I just say one more thing? I'm sorry. No?
No, it's fine. If I just said, it would be boring if I said yes, right? So, all right.
It's hard to interrupt on Zoom.
No, just go ahead and interrupt.
No, I forgot to mention, there was an email that I got from Assembly Member Bennett, who has designated May as Sea Level Rise Awareness Month. And it struck me that there's a whole bunch of budget stuff happening in Sacramento right now. And I'm trying to figure out if we can get together some kind of action alert so that Surfrider members and supporters can do that, one click, send a message to Sacramento for funding for the Surfers Point project. Technically, the project is more or less ready to go, but it's a $10 million project and we don't have the money. So that's something to look for coming up in the next couple of weeks, and I'll be working with a couple of you guys on that.
Perfect.
Offline. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. So tonight's guest presenters are Ruth Dover and Jen Levine with the Channel Islands Marine and Wildlife Institute. And Cassie, would you like to introduce your peoples?
Yes, I would. Absolutely. I'm still getting my last notes in. Yes, I'm super stoked to introduce our guest speakers, Ruth Dover and Jen Levine from the Channel Islands Marine and Wildlife Institute, which is otherwise known as CIMWI. It's a lot easier to say than the whole acronym. So whenever you hear CIMWI, that's what we're referring to. So Ruth is she's the director, vice president, chief financial officer, and Jen is the stranding operations and animal care manager. My brief introduction really doesn't do their backgrounds justice, as both are incredibly accomplished and really passionate about CIMWI's mission. So this organization is very near and dear to my heart. In the past month, it's been my honor to volunteer with both Ruth and Jen on the Marine Mammal Hotline Response Team, as well as the rehabilitation team, which you'll hear more about in their presentation. So I encourage you all to ask questions, to check out the links we share, and get involved with CIMWI in any capacity. I'm actually going to be sending a follow-up email after the meeting with all of these links that we're going to discuss and all the links that Laura has mentioned already. So if you'd like to get that email so you aren't frantically trying to copy them out of the chat, go ahead and send me your email. You can send it as a private message. You can send it to the group if that's easier for you. Whatever works, but I'll probably send it out tomorrow morning to make sure we have all the details covered. So without further ado, I will let Ruth and Jen take the stage and tell you a little bit more about CIMWI and how you can get involved. So Ruth and Jen, take it away.
All right. I am Jen, and I'm going to share my screen, and I'm still new at this, so bear with me, everybody, okay?
Okay. So if you have questions, put them in the chat, and then we're going to do Q&A at the end.
And as Jen's doing that, I'll just kind of start with introducing myself. As Cassie said, my husband and I actually founded CIMWI, and we decided that we should often go by our acronym because we made a really big name because we've got a big vision for the organization. So it's Channel Islands Marine and Wildlife Institute, as Cassie said, also known as CIMWI. And we also gave Jen a really big title because she's our only employee. She's actually paid through a federal grant, and she's on a seasonal basis, which coincides with our busy season, which is March through August. And she truly is instrumental in our daily success, as well as our all volunteer team, aside from Jen, doing amazing things. And tonight, we're gonna share a little bit more information about who we are and what we do. And we really appreciate the opportunity. It seems like a very natural fit for us to know more about each other's organizations, as well as to do some collaboration now that we've made this initial contact. So we're looking forward to it all. Jen, if you can do the next slide. Right, so we thought, since maybe some of the people attending the meeting tonight might not know very much about our nonprofit organization, we thought we'd start with a video overview of our nonprofit. So we'll play that video for you now.
Channel Islands Marine and Wildlife Institute, also known as CIMWI, is a 501c3 nonprofit organization dedicated to positively impacting conservation through marine mammal rescue, rehabilitation, research, and education to promote ocean and human health. CIMWI serves Santa Barbara and Ventura counties as a part of the Marine Mammal Health and Stranding Response Program under NOAA's National Marine Fisheries Service. CIMWI is also an active member of the Oiled Wildlife Care Network and the Marine Mammal Disentanglement Team. Our core work is the rescue and rehabilitation of sick, injured, malnourished, orphaned, entangled, and oiled marine mammals. We respond to reports of seals, sea lions, sea turtles, dolphins, porpoises, and whales. CIMWI provides education and outreach programs in both communities, and our research is focused on marine mammal health and human impact on the environment. We rely on dedicated and passionate volunteers, community awareness, and external financial support to sustain our day-to-day operations and enhance our mission. For more information about CIMWI and how you can support our work, please visit our website at cimwi.org. You could be the difference in giving a marine mammal a second chance at life in the wild. Channel Island.
All right. So now that you know a little bit more about us, we're going to talk about what do you do if you find a stranded marine mammal on the beach? And the first thing is do not touch. Many people out there don't realize that marine mammals are federally protected species by the Marine Mammal Protection Act of 1972. So it's actually illegal to touch, to feed, to harass. Oops, sorry, my screen went. Or to like try to drag the animal back into the ocean. And although we have on there, you're not supposed to take selfies, that's actually not a federal law. It's just smart common sense because these are wild animals. And if you get too close, they could bite. So we want to keep you safe as well as the animal safe. The second thing that you're going to do is to observe the animal. And we say that you should stay a distance of 50 feet from the animal. I'm not really good at measurements. So I was always like, what's 50 feet? So when we do our educational things with our children in classrooms or virtually, we talk about the length of a school bus because many of them understand what a school bus is. So that's how far you want to stand back. And that's to decrease the amount of stress on the animal and to kind of protect it from it getting scared and wanting to go back into the ocean to that fight or flight response. We also want you to note the physical characteristics and the condition of the animal. If we can go to the next slide. So number 3 is to determine the location. And this is really important. You can't just say Silver Strand Beach, there's a seal, because we won't know where to send our volunteers. So we want you to get as much information and noting the landmarks about the location of the animal. And if you can get the GPS, it's a huge score for us, because our volunteer is going to be able to plug that into their map app and get there much more quickly. And that's the key thing. That's our first response. The fourth thing that we want everybody to do is to call our hotline and to make sure that they know it. So you can program it into your phone. If you Google, we pretty much show up in the beginning of the search engine as well. And we want you to give us as much information as you can. We want you to give us the name, your name and your phone number. And in case we need to call you back for any information. But as I mentioned, we're an all volunteer organization. So your call is actually going to be going to a voicemail that we're going to retrieve and then dispatch volunteers. So what we want to do is ensure that the reporting party is giving us as much information as they can so that we can most efficiently get our volunteers to location for that animal. Can move to the next slide. Great. So plastic pollution, it's a hot topic and it's a critical concern for all of us. Marine plastic pollution has impacted at least 267 species worldwide, 86% of all sea turtle species, 44% of all seabird species, and 43% of all marine mammal species have been impacted by marine plastic pollution. And these impacts can cause fatalities. They can be a result of ingestion, starvation, suffocation, infection, drowning, and entanglement. We move to the next slide. In addition to plastic pollution, marine debris is really a huge concern for us and a threat to our marine mammals. This slide actually shows 5 different sea lions that we rescued, our organization rescued, and they were all entangled in some form of marine debris. The top left is a salmon flasher. The bottom left is a fishing lure. The middle and the top right are gill nets. And the bottom right is a lobster gauge. Now, these are horrible scenarios, but the good thing is that our nonprofit, our volunteers are really successful with rehabilitating pinnipeds that were entangled in marine debris. And they help us with that because they have a thick layer of fat that often stops the entanglement from reaching the tissue and the bone. We'll move to the next slide. So as you guys know, because you're ocean lovers, that our channel is rich with marine life, including 30 different species of cetaceans. The photo on the left includes, before I talk about the photo, we also, if you're in Ventura or whether you're in Santa Barbara, you're familiar with our local population of coastal bottlenose dolphins. And the photo on the left shows a mother on the far left, and then the one on the right is actually its calf. So it's baby. And that calf was about 2 or 3 months old, and it probably only weighed 70 pounds. And it was entangled. It was entangled in marine debris. The marine netting had like metal hooks on it, and it was wrapped around both pectoral fins, the body, the dolphin's tail, and it was also trailing 6 feet behind that little dolphin. And that was causing inability or difficulty with its ability to swim. So it was a really challenging rescue. It was kind of like initially trying to find a needle in a haystack with an open ocean and trying to find some entangled dolphin, because we were getting very lag reports. They weren't real time, so it was very difficult for us to mount an effort to try to go and find the animals. But we did, and it was definitely a challenging rescue because we had the mother dolphin and then a couple other adults with it as escorts. We were able to successfully disentangle the animal. And even though there was some deeply embedded debris that we removed within the dolphin skin, our chief veterinarian and my husband, Sam, whose life dream was to found this organization, determined that it was wounds that would heal on its own and not worth the risk of separating the dolphin calf from its mother. The one thing I also want to make a note of is that our team rescued, disentangled, and returned this baby dolphin back to the wild in 3 minutes and 8 seconds. And literally, time out of water is critical to these animals. And it was a successful reintroduction with its mom. So truly a huge success. And then if we look at the animal on the right of this particular slide, it's a gray whale that was entangled in fishing net. And we suspect that it actually was fishing net that came from Mexico, because when we looked at the netting, and it filled the bed of our truck, an F-150 truck, this amount of netting. And it was, we identified some of the shells from Mexico as that being their natural habitat. This entanglement was around the tail fluke, peduncle, the dorsal fin, and the mouth. And we work with, we're part of the large whale disentanglement network. So initially this animal was reported in Dana Point, and the team never found the animal. It was never in a location. They were not able to locate it. So it was diving, it was migrating, it was moving. A week later, it actually showed up in Oxnard. And our team was the lead responders in that within the network. And we used grappling tools and cutting knives. And we were actually able to free the animal of its entanglement. So another horrible example of what's happening with derelict fishing gear, but a success for our network and for this animal. We'll go to the next slide. And so what can we as a community, as organizations, as individuals do to help decrease ocean plastic pollution? Well, you're Surfrider, you're already doing it. It's maybe just emphasizing a few things and in reminding each other that we have the opportunity to be the catalyst to share this information with those that are in our circle of influence, or when we're out walking the beach, and to spontaneously do our own beach cleanup that you guys were like, what you guys are talking about. And it's realizing that we can make an even bigger difference by sharing this information. We'll move to the next slide. And most people ask us, hey, what's the most common animal, marine mammal that you guys respond to? Well, these are our top 3. The California sea lion is number 1. Northern elephant seal is our 2nd. And the Pacific harbor seal is the 3rd most common. We'll look at the next slide. And for, this is funny. We get calls to our hotline, and everybody says, or shouldn't say everybody, most people say, oh, it's a seal on the beach. It's a seal. It's a seal. Well, it's not always a seal. 50-50 chance, or probably actually 80% chance it's going to be a sea lion. So what's the difference? And you can kind of see on the slide, but I like to kind of make it really basic. The biggest difference is whether or not they have external ear flaps. And if it does, it's a sea lion. If it doesn't, it's a seal. And another way to kind of look at it is, and this is within our beach communities, like well, all around, they are kind of nicknamed sea dogs. So again, another easy way to remember, if it looks like your dog, it's a sea lion, for the basic purposes of reporting whether you are at a seal or a sea lion. Okay, we'll move to the next slide. And talk a little bit about California sea lions. So these are the most common marine mammals that CIMWI responds to. And this is kind of a crazy fact to think that the highest number of sea lions that we've ever had in rehabilitation at one time at our little facility was 60. So you can imagine how intense and how much effort our volunteers had to put in on a daily basis to care for these animals in rehabilitation and nurse them back to health. And on average, our patients are with us for about 75 days before they're fully rehabilitated and we're able to return them back to the wild with a second chance at life. So we'll look next at the northern elephant seals. And probably a lot of you have already been to the rookery in San Simeon, but if you haven't, I highly suggest you take a road trip. It's an amazing organization and opportunity to see northern elephant seals in a rookery. I'd probably say January is the most exciting time, but it could be February. Definitely we'll give Cassie the link to share with everybody. They have like a count, and they have seal cams so that you can check in. But usually in January, that's when they have the most births and the most pups in the rookery that you're able to overlook and watch. And these animals are born at about 75 pounds, and their mothers will nurse them for about 4 weeks. The interesting thing about this is that these animals are getting the best, most fattest milk out there. A northern elephant seal's mother's milk is about 55% fat. And that's in comparison to our, like humans, is what, 3 to 5%. So they are packing on the pounds. They're going to double to triple their birth weight. And then they are, when they're done nursing, they're actually, it's a hard wean. And then they start to go through a catastrophic molt. They're losing their initial fur and their epidermis, and a new coat of fur is growing in. But during this time frame, they're going through, they're fasting. So they're living off of all that good stored fat that they got while they were nursing. So we call these animals weaners. And these are the types of, this age class of species that are most common on our Ventura County beaches and Santa Barbara as well. So a lot of the times, and it's interesting, they go through this molt, they're fasting, and then all of a sudden, one day, about 4 to 6 weeks later, something clicks, and they just, that instinct kicks in, and they go out and start foraging on their own, which is amazing. But sometimes these animals need help, but most often we're able to put up a observation safety perimeter around the animals. And so that we can give them their space to be lazy, to flip sand on themselves, to snooze, and to kind of just conserve their energy. And most often time around sunset, if you're there at the right time, you can watch them scooch their way back into the ocean, which is pretty amazing. We'll go to the next slide. And then Pacific harbor seals. So that's our third most common. Another great local place to view wildlife just in its glory is to go to the Carpinteria Seal Rookery if you have not been there. The rookery area at the beach is closed December 1st through May 31st. And so you're able to observe, they've got amazing docents. And I'd probably say the most exciting time, and they do counts on their website as well, is in March, because that's probably when they've got the most births. Most important fact to know about these species is that they're really skittish. They're not like a sea lion. They're not gregarious. They're not going to be as comfortable around people. And it's really important that if you see a mom and a pup, or even just a pup on its own, that you give them the most amount of space, that you don't walk in between the ocean and the animal, because their mom is probably out foraging for food. And if she can't see her pup or feels that the pup is in danger, she's not going to come and defend it. She's going to keep moving on. So she's going to watch you from a distance and try to come on shore when people aren't there. So again, just most important thing is to stay away. And we don't get many of these pups. It's maybe when they're displaced due to weather or possible maybe abandonment during the nursing process, or when these pups, when they started foraging for food on their own and they're past the nursing process, that they're just kind of not getting it. And it's more a failure to thrive on their own, that they may show up on our shores where we would rescue them. I think we're going to stay on this slide because I am now going to transition the presentation over to Jen, and she's going to cover more specifics about what our organization does to help these amazing sentinel species. So Jen, it's all yours.
All right. Hi, everybody. I'm Jen, CIMWI Stranding Operations and Animal Care Manager. And before we jump into why marine mammals strand, I think it's really important for everybody to know what is considered a stranded marine mammal. So the National Marine Fisheries definition of a stranded marine mammal is a marine mammal that is on shore and unable to return to the water of its own power, or is able to return to the water, but is in need of apparent medical attention. A marine mammal in the water that cannot return to his natural habitat without assistance, and a dead marine mammal on the beach or in the water. So now that we know what a stranded marine mammal is, the reasons that marine mammals strand are malnourishment, entanglements in fishing gear and marine debris, trauma, harmful algal blooms and associated biotoxins, pollution exposure and ingestion of pollutants, including microplastics and marine debris, an abnormal volume or frequency of sound, infectious diseases, parasite infestations, and unusual weather or oceanographic events. So malnourishment is the most common cause of strandings for sea lion pups and yearlings. And these animals are newer to eating and cannot forage as deep as adults or as far offshore. So once the cycle of starvation begins for sea lion pups and yearlings, it's very difficult for them to overcome without human veterinary intervention. And I guess I don't need to say next slide because I'm going to do it. Another common cause of stranding that we see is called domoic acid toxicosis. And that's what we call the effect of a naturally occurring biotoxin produced by an algal bloom when consumed through the food chain by marine mammals. The species that we see affected are California sea lions. The toxin also affects humans and can cause amnesic shellfish poisoning, which is why it's really important. Domoic acid is a neurotoxin and it's excreted in the urine within 72 hours of ingestion, and its initial effects can be mild or acute depending on the amount consumed. Some of the symptoms include foaming at the mouth, head bobbing and weaving, bulging eyes, seizures, unresponsiveness, and even death, but not all cases are fatal. So we're going to show you a little video here of a mild case of domoic acid toxicosis. And you can see this animal just has some rhythmic head bobbing and is disoriented and just sort of gives you the 50-yard stare. Like it doesn't really know what's going on here. So a large part of our daily operations is responding to reports of stranded marine mammals. When someone gets a report of a stranded marine mammal, a volunteer is dispatched to assess the animal. Our responding volunteer works with the management team to determine the best course of action for the animal, which can include the placement of the animal under observation in a safety perimeter, or the rescue of the animal because it's in need of medical help or nourishment. So there's a lot of different things that we take into account during an assessment. We are going to determine the species and age class of the animal, because it's very important to decide whether or not that behavior and responsiveness is normal for that species and age class. We look for wounds or injuries, as well as visible spine, ribs, and hips, which can be an indication of an underweight animal. We also take into consideration the presence of humans and dogs on the beach, tide movements, the location of the stranding, if there is safe access to the animal, the presence of other animals, and any other issues with the beach condition that may affect the safety of a rescue or the effectiveness of a perimeter. CIMWI volunteers then work with the management team and take all of those assessment factors and look at the big picture, because it's really, really important that we're only rescuing animals that actually need to be rescued. So let me play this little video here. When CIMWI volunteers rescue a marine mammal, safety, skill, and proper resources and equipment are of the utmost importance. Our volunteers handle many different species of pinnipeds, cetaceans, and sea turtles. The training they receive as part of our team gives them the tools and knowledge to carry out rescues that are difficult, with consideration for the animal's safety, their own safety, and the safety of their team. This video shows the many varieties of species and age classes that CIMWI rescues. And as you can see, most of the time, the animals are not super appreciative of our efforts, but ultimately, once they're feeling better and are ready to return to the wild, we did what was best for them. And I'll have a sip of water while we watch the rest of this video. I guess I should have put some sound to it now that I'm watching it in silence. Sorry, guys. Would you like me to sing for you? I can whistle a tune. Oh, this one's a cool one. This one's the whale disentanglement. And them throwing grappling hooks to attach to the line trailing from the sperm whale. All right. Uh-oh, why did that pop back up? Here, let me clear this real quick. Oops, there we go. Sorry, I know that leaves a little square on your screen. All right, that's, I think, better. Well, hopefully that little rectangle goes away soon. So when an animal is rescued, it gets transported to CIMWI's rehabilitation facility that's on the Gaviota coast. And all of our animals receive an intake that includes rehydrating fluids, food and medication, a full body exam, immediate treatment of any health issues, a head mark with a non-toxic grease crayon for individual identification, and a shave mark in their fur called a feral mark as a secondary form of identification. Animals are placed in an enclosure after their intake with patients of the same species, age class, and health status. During rehabilitation, we are careful to treat our patients as wild animals and not our pets to help with successful reintroduction to the wild. I am having a trouble. Oh, there we go. Okay. So CIMWI's facility has a full working hospital where our patients receive individual treatment plans based on their health. Medications are prescribed by our chief veterinarian and are administered daily by the volunteer team. Throughout rehabilitation, patients receive fluids and medications to help with infection, hypoglycemia, appetite stimulation, parasites, and many other commonly seen medical issues. CIMWI patients eat a specialized diet consisting of 100% fish. We typically offer herring, capelin, and sardines, and we occasionally have anchovy, squid, and smelt on the menu. When our patients are new, some of them may have difficulty eating whole fish initially because of inexperience and medical problems. In those cases, we cut the fish in whatever fashion the animal is able to eat in. That can be in half, slices, chunks, or even shredded. Our volunteers are happy to do whatever it takes to ensure our patients get adequate nutrition. And one of the most important tasks CIMWI volunteers in rehabilitation have is called animal husbandry. Animal husbandry is really just a fancy word for the daily care and cleaning of our patients and their enclosures. Each day, our volunteers rinse off our patients and scrub their pens to ensure a healthy environment. Look at how excited we all are here cleaning. We create lots of dishes every day and our volunteers clean those as well. And we do lots of general cleaning and maintenance too. A clean environment is imperative to ensuring our animals have the best chance to become healthy and make the journey home. As our patients eat well, gain weight, and respond positively to treatment, they will learn to compete with their peers and practice skills that are needed in the wild. Once an animal has good body weight and a clean bill of health, the chief veterinarian will deem the animal releasable. Prior to release, a flipper tag is applied with a unique number on it, and they will stay with them when they return to the wild. Research is a key component of CIMWI's mission. The studies we do help CIMWI promote ocean and human health. We conduct our own research as well as collaborate with researchers, scientists, and universities on projects. We collect data from dead stranded pinnipeds, sea otters, and sea turtles. And we also collect data from dead whales and dolphins upon request from National Marine Fisheries Service. The data we collect is then entered into the National Marine Fisheries Service database and can be accessed by the public and researchers. CIMWI provides educational presentations to groups and schools from elementary to college level. We have a children's program in development that's based on the book that we published called Number 32. Number 32 is about a California sea lion pup that was entangled in a plastic bag. We are currently creating content that will be available on our website that can be accessed by adults and children worldwide. So thank you guys so much for your time and listening. And I am now going to hand it back to Ruth and change the slide.
And I'm going to unmute myself and talk about releases. Okay, this is the best part of the work that we do. So we thought we would also use videos to show you about the releases. So we'll go to the next slide. And this is actually a California sea lion pup that's returning back to the ocean with a lot of energy. You can watch him bound for the ocean. We do most of our releases with island packers out of the Ventura harbor because we really want to make sure that we're giving these animals the best chance at reintroduction to make it as successful as possible. So that means taking them out and further away from people. That release that you saw actually was at a private beach. So the majority of our animals will actually go out to Santa Cruz or Santa Rosa Island. This video that we're about to play is probably our most exciting release that we've ever done. we returned 6 sea lions back to the wild. So we'll play the video for you now. Okay, so we definitely need to put music to the rescues because that is just as much of an adrenaline rush as watching that release. So we will work on that for the next presentation. But hey, after watching these release videos, who wouldn't want to get involved with CIMWI, right? I'm like all re-energized already, and I was one of the founders. So the ways that you can help is spread awareness. You can use your new education to tell people about CIMWI, and you can use it when you're out on the beach. Now you know more about the different species that you're seeing and how CIMWI responds to them and how important it is to call our rescue hotline with all the details so that we can get there as quickly as possible. You can be an ocean steward. Well, you guys are already rocking that one as Surfrider members, but you can just also encourage others to refuse, reduce, reuse, repurpose, and recycle, because it is much bigger than just us making that difference and changing what we do. It's helping other people to change. You can also volunteer with us. We are always looking for more volunteers to join our team. You can check out our website under ways to help. There's information about how to volunteer, about what volunteer duties are, and we have our volunteer application on there as well. And of course, there's that last one that's ever important for all of our nonprofit organizations is you can donate. It doesn't have to be financially. We would love it to be financially, but it can be with your time. You can also find out on our website how to make an in-kind donation, or just from shopping at home. You can start at us as your charity of choice when you're shopping on Amazon, or purchase items from the Amazon wish list. So that was the obligatory speech I had to do about donating. But it's more about supporting our efforts. We definitely, I'm excited about new collaboration that we can do as well. So we'll move to the next slide, which actually is coming up.
Maybe. I'm working on it. Oh, there we go. There we go.
And that indicates that we have finished our presentation for the Ventura County chapter of Surfriders. And we will move on to whether or not you guys have any questions for us. I don't know who's on the left or who's on the right, but Jen and I are here for you to help answer any of the questions. So if there's anything in the chat, we're happy to answer. And I think either Laura or Cassie will kind of throw those questions out for us.
Thank you so much. That was amazing and super informative and so well presented. You guys are hired. Absolutely. I loved it. That was really truly inspiring. And I messaged Cassie during it. I'm like, man, I can see why you do this. This is like so you. It's perfect. But I did want to say something, Danielle. I know you're out there. Danielle does something with Carpinteria and the pups. Danielle, did you want to tell us a little bit about that? She volunteers.
Oh, I was actually just typing a question in the chat. Yeah, I was a docent seal watcher for a number of years at the Carpinteria Rookery. I guess my question for CIMWI that I had was, I know we educate, I don't want to use the word threaten, but we tell people about the consequences of the Marine Mammal Protection Act of 1972. But has CIMWI ever seen anybody have to, face any of the consequences for harassing a marine mammal? Because that's something I've always been curious about, how much documentation it takes to actually have somebody, face a fine for harassment or injury of a marine mammal.
Really good question. And it's difficult. And you guys as Seal Watch volunteers or docents, it's hard because you want to protect those pups and those mothers and that nucleus and that rookery. So there's some state and city ordinances that you guys are following, plus the overarching Marine Mammal Protection Act. We get enforcement involved. We're all volunteers. You guys are volunteers. We don't enforce. We try to educate as best we can, but then we need to step down at some point and call the local law enforcement and ask them to get involved. But also there's the Marine Mammal, National Marine, or NOAA has enforcement. So we'll call them and try to document as much as possible to give that information to them. But it's a really difficult situation. And for those of you who may not know, it can be if you violate the Marine Mammal Protection Act, it can be, I believe, Jen, an $11,000 fine or up to a year imprisonment if they pursue things. So there are definitely consequences, and it's a difficult spot for our volunteers to be in. But we always say that it's human safety and in our volunteers first. And so we can only do so much and then circle back and do the documentation or call some law enforcement.
Thank you. Thanks for that explanation. So going back to the chat, I'm actually not sure if we have questions more than comments. And what Cassie was explaining before is that all of these links are going to be shared with the attendees or the people that are actually interested in receiving an email. Go ahead and let Cassie know, info@ventura.surfrider.org. This is also being recorded. This meeting and including the presentation will be uploaded to our YouTube library and shared there, as well as shared with CIMWI, with their organization. So Cassie, do you see any questions?
I haven't seen any questions, but I have one myself, and I know the answer to this, but I think it's important to clarify. So when people, let's say they're out on their boats and they see a whale that has a bunch of netting stuck to it, is it a violation for them to take it upon themselves to rescue these whales, like you see in the videos of people who are just good Samaritans out there jumping on sea lines, cutting off nets? It's heroic, but I would assume that that's probably not what you guys want people out there doing if they see it, as much as we want to. I guess Jen or Ruth could answer that question.
I'm gonna let Ruth take that one. That's a tough question.
Okay, no. Stay in your boat, call for help. These guys, the videos that get posted are the successful interactions, right? Nobody got hurt. They're not showing what really happens. These animals are wild. They're entangled. They're threatened. They are going to lash out. Yes, the gentle giant, maybe, in some of these things. I mean, they're real, they're not fake, but what percentage of those things are happening? And there are plenty of stories. We actually had to stop. Our large whale disentanglement network had to stand down for a while because one of the team members were killed in a very safe, very skilled response. That tail fluke could come down and smash a boat. The animal could tip over a boat. It is illegal, it is unsafe, and it is not the time to be a hero.
Thank you.
Perfect.
It's hard not to want to, but I'm glad that you clarified. And I also just want, for everybody watching those videos, moving those animals is no small feat. I mean, they make it look easy, and then you go in and do a volunteer shift, and you're like, wow, these are big animals. Those videos are amazing, and I think it's great to have that content. But really, all the volunteers with CIMWI, and even Joy, she's a longtime volunteer. She's actually the one who, got me into it as well. It's amazing what everybody does. So I really want to commend you all for leading this amazing nonprofit, for doing that awesome presentation. I just really appreciate what you guys are out there doing, and I'm really excited to be a part of it. Surfrider will always be my number one thing, but it's so cool to have this duality of taking care of both the beaches and the marine mammals that are out there. So definitely everybody hit them up.
It is a great partnership for sure. And we're very fortunate that we have, the organizations around us that help enhance the work that we do. And thank you for deciding and presenting tonight. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely. We really appreciate the opportunity. It was fun for us, and we look forward to the next step. It's just the foundation. So thank you guys.
You're welcome. Well, if there are no other, does anybody have any more questions? If you want to just unmute yourself and ask a question before we sign off for the night. I wanted to make a specific comment tonight to thank all of our executive committee members here tonight. I know Debbie's out there, and April's out there, and Danielle's out there, Megan's out there, and we really appreciate the work. I apologize if I've missed any of you, but our executive committee, works really hard behind the scenes to, do the administrative part of leading the chapter. And, the program leaders are on the front line, so to speak, but the executive committee is a big part of the success of the chapter too. So thank you, everyone. So yes, so Cassie will get everybody that's interested all of the contact links and contact information, and then we can just move forward. So thank you everyone for coming tonight. I guess there's no more questions. So you guys did a great job. Thank you again. So appreciate it. Have a wonderful rest of your evening, everyone. And we'll talk soon.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Good night, everyone.
Good night.